Hi, this is Clay Nelson Life Balance Hour. We're talking about the art of listening. I want to go back to what Susan and I were talking about before the last break, about how she had a caller this morning. She had all kinds of things going on, and the caller kept going on, and she kept going on, and she burned the toast, and breakfast was, a little bit weird, and she had to get our son to work and do all this other stuff, and it's all about being able to say, hey, I can't have this conversation now, but being able to say it in a way that the person you're saying it to gets it. So listening is an art. All right. Speaking so people can hear is an art. All right. So you have to be really clear that sometimes people kind of listen to you like wanting to get their way, not necessarily wanting to hear what you have to say. So you have to get them to a place where they can hear what you have to say, like respectfully and completely, so that when they do speak, you can really be with them 100%. Mm-hmm. That's called full and complete communication. So there has to be an understanding of what's being said. There has to be an appreciation of what's being said. And there has to be an atmosphere of mutual trust between you two that's what's being said is what's going on, i.e., I don't have time to have this conversation now. I do want to have it with you, but we're going to have to reschedule it because I've got things I got to go do besides Clay's toast is burning. So think about that. Okay. All right, now, Winston Churchill, said, courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. Now, think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Think about what Winston Churchill just said, and think about what it's like to be in a family meeting and you're having trouble with your kids. And a lot of the resolve in the trouble with your kids is we don't listen to what they have to say, and that's part of the trouble. So think about that. It's also what's going on with some of the activities among the youth in Santa Barbara, in Peoria, in Chicago, and a lot of places is the kids don't feel like they've been listened to. So we've got to take the time to sit down and listen. So,
Clay, we do appreciate all of our listeners listening to us and really keeping tuned in. And the people who are especially brave are those who call in. And we have someone on the line right now with a question.
Wow, cool. Hi.
Hi, Clay. My name is Laura.
Hi, Laura.
And my question has to do with my husband. The timing of your topic's actually great because it's something, listening is a big problem we're having.
Yeah.
And that is my husband. He's a fantastic guy. He's a great husband. He's a wonderful father, but he has a tendency to tune, especially our kids, out.
Yeah.
They'll be talking, and the question, he doesn't even reply, and it's not that he's ignoring them necessarily or meaning to. He just literally doesn't even hear them when they're 3 feet away from him.
Yep.
And he doesn't have a hearing problem.
Yeah, no, I got it. No, I totally got it. Now listen to what I'm going to say now. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
How many times has your husband or you been home where you're actually home, but your head's not there?
That happens all the time.
And that's essentially what you're saying. A lot of people come home from work and they just want to go, whew. And the truth is they come home from work and all their loved ones want to be with them, but they're not home yet. Mm-hmm. All right. So the best way I've found to do that, I call it's the trouble tree, where I leave all my troubles out on a tree or a bush or a handrail or whatever outside before I come in the house, because I don't want my day to be in the house. I want me to be in the house. Mm-hmm. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I do. So can I ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
So how do I talk to him about it? How do I bring this up without him feeling like he's being ganged up on or that I'm upset with him? Or
okay, well, you want to speak from first person. Number one, you want to ask permission to shoot straight with him. Mm-hmm. Okay. Number two, you want to speak from what you've noticed about yourself many times with the kids is after a while you just don't even hear them because it's like a static noise in the background,
Yeah.
And then your kids go, Mom, you're not listening to me, and then that gets you checked back in again, because the kids feel free enough to have that conversation. But the kids may not feel free enough to have that conversation with their dad, and the kids don't say it, but believe me, they know when he's not listening. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it hurts them. It really does. It makes them feel like Dad doesn't really care. I can remember having that feeling about my dad and my mom, quite frankly. I can remember having that feeling. It's not something that makes them bad or wrong. It's just what happens when there's so much input all the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So what you say to him is, could we team up and raise the bar on the level of communication in the family? So it's not about him. It's the level of communication and listening in the family-wide, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
So it's about all of us.
Yeah, so it's about all of us. And it's not about what he's doing wrong. It's about what human beings do and be when their input computer is absolutely maxed.
Got it.
So it's not a good, bad, right, wrong. It's not a morality issue. It's an input computer issue. It's how much data he can hold.
Laura, just so you know, you don't feel like you're the Lone Ranger. I mean, I remember when the kids were little and they'd have friends over, if it was just the kids, and there's a da 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 da, and I'm doing 4 different things at once and trying to get things ready, and they're just asking questions and going on and on and on, and I would just tune them out, and it wasn't really on purpose, but. Well, maybe sometimes it was. But it was just more like a safety valve for me.
Yeah, it's you just get overloaded. And it's like, okay, that's all I can take now.
Yeah, and I would just let him run on and on and on. And anyway.
And if I can add to that, his day at work, his input computer could be maxed. And by the time he gets home, he's filtered as much as he can, and he gets home and he just wants to be. So he sits down on the couch and he ends up being a big pile of skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and he just needs to unplug. So you need to talk about, and he still needs to have that time. All right. So you may want to agree that he needs to have 15 minutes, 30 minutes where he goes for a walk, or he sits down and does nothing, or he does, checks his private email on his computer, or just gets his, his knees rubbed or whatever happens. Susan rubs my knees, and I go, okay, I'm here.
Oh, he'd like that.
Okay. That kind of thing.
Well, those are great suggestions. Thank you very much. I'll call back sometime.
Yeah,
and let you know
thanks
how it
for calling. Yeah, go check us out. We're live streaming now, so get on the website and you'll see it.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
All right,
Laura.
Take care. All right, now, so let's see now. We have our jobs, we have stress, we have worries, we have commitments, we have relationships, we have football games, we have PTA meetings, we have children's activities. Oh, here's a good one. We have televisions, internet, video games, movies being delivered to our door, and all kinds of stuff. I mean, we don't even have to go to a store to get a movie anymore. We can just have them delivered. Oh, and then we've got 24/7 news programs. And you notice news is rarely good stuff. It's usually negative stuff, or oil spills, or somebody taking the life of another, or a terrible accident, or a bridge falling, or some darn thing. So it's all about getting to a place to where you're just max. Now, all this stuff we have and do, any of these things can distract you from really being present to who you're with, where you are, really listening for what's important. So how do we get past all the noise? And the noise, I mean, is noise global, noise TV, noise radio, noise kids, noise husbands, noise telephone, noise email, noise, all the noise. How do we become an active listener? All right. How do you show your interest? How do you get present, actually be where your feet are? All right. How do you really want to learn how to listen? And now think about this now. Just about every single time that you've gotten in any communication trouble or any trouble anywhere with anybody, it's because someone didn't hear what you had to say or what they had to say. That's what it's all about. It's all about listening. So you don't want to be too judgmental. You want to learn to be able to set the noise aside and really be present to where your feet are. And you don't want to get hooked and be right around what someone said. You have to learn to forgive on your feet, all right? And you have to learn to get the noise. Like, have you ever been with somebody and the shirt they had on was so loud and so terrible you couldn't hear what they had to say because you didn't like their shirt? I mean, can you believe that?
Hey, it's appropriate. There's a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson who says, "Who you are is speaking so loudly that I can't hear what you're saying."
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and the who you are is really what we're talking about now. And who are you committed to be, so that what you talk about, what you say, can really be heard by all. All right, now we've got to take another break now.
We will indeed, and when we come back, we have Frank on the line with a question.
Yay, Frank. Hey. All right, so this is Clay Nelson Life Balance Hour. You're listening to Active Listening. How do we have a great time using this wonderful tool? And so get on back here and listen to us. Really get it on. Take care.